What is the handmade Italian difference? Is there something special, call it soul, that's built into Colnago bikes? After nearly 7 decades of building bikes, we come to this, the bike that I've been riding for the last 2 weeks, the Colnago C68 Gravel. Colnago's latest gravel bike focused on creating an exceptional gravel riding experience, complementing the C68 Road and C68 All-Road. After riding it for over 100 miles, I want to run through the test bike, how I'd build my own C68 gravel from the frame up, and some initial impressions. As always, this isn't a paid video. Colnago has no say in the video, no money exchanged hands, and they'll see it at the same time you do. Now, I'm not sure if you can talk about a Colnago bike without mentioning that Colnago has a strong legacy and history in the sport. Colnago is to cycling what Ferrari is to motorsports, dating back to the 1950s. Fast forward to today, and some of the best riders in the world continue to ride Colnagos, namely Team UAE and some gentleman by the name of Tadej Pogačar. You also can't talk about Colnago without diving into the aesthetics of the frame. It's a beautiful bike. It's simple, it's clean, yet it's confidently aggressive in just the right areas. It has a taller, bigger head tube that's in line with most modern road and gravel bikes. The top tube starts wide and it narrows as it arrives at the seat post. It also features mounts for a top tube bag, which is the extent of the mounting options. This is built for speed. There's not a single exposed cable, which creates a super clean aesthetic. It's worth noting that the craftsmanship on the C68 Gravel is exceptional. I've owned a lot of bikes. Some of them have had gaps and imperfections straight out of the box. Not the C68 Gravel. Every junction, every connecting point, it's been mindfully crafted to work in perfect harmony. But I digress. The C68 Gravel is a modular frame built entirely by hand in Italy and available in 5 different sizes. The gravel geometry differs from the road version with a shorter reach and higher stack. The test bike I was given is a size 51 in Colnago sizing, or it's equivalent to a size 56. I ride a 56 across the board and this felt perfect. The frame's available in 2 colors, a green that's almost like a chameleon green, and the black and white frame that you see here, which in the light has a hint of kind of a bass boat cherry sparkle. It has a full SRAM Red Explorer group with a 40-tooth 1x chainring and a 1044 cassette. They've paired it with Zip 303S wheels laced with 40mm Pirelli Cinturato gravel age tires. And for the record, it has a max stated tire clearance of 42mm. The C68 Gravel has Colnago's own fully integrated cockpit, which they call the CC01 wide. And this particular build has a 100mm stem with 40cm bars that flare out to a 46 in the drops. I think that's just the right amount of flare for a set of gravel bars. It has a Cell Italia Regal saddle, a T47 bottom bracket, Colnago bottle cages, and it has this nifty kind of out front mount, and it's available in 5 different sizes. It's compatible with 1x and 2x electronic drivetrains, or if you want to run mechanical, it's compatible with 1x mechanical. With a standard non-wide bottom bracket, you can run up to standard gearing, or a 5339 chainring, or a 50-tooth chainring if you want to run 1x. If you wanted to configure your build with Campy, there's plenty of room for the 44-tooth chainring. Now, it's my belief that when you build a bike of this caliber, you build it from the frame up to the exact spec that you want. In my case, I choose almost the exact same setup as a test bike. I choose the same black and white frame, the same 1x Red Explorer group, but maybe with a 42 or 44-tooth chainring. I'd use the same cockpit, but I definitely swap the Zip 303S wheel set for something like the 303 Firecrest, the NV34s, or the Reserve 4044s, a wheel set to kind of match the caliber of the build. I'd probably stick with the Pirelli Cinturato Gravel H tires. I've been really impressed by how well they grip, especially considering how quickly they roll. That's how I build my C68 Gravel. Now, if you had an unlimited budget, how would you build yours? Let me know in the comments below. All this is great, but what's it like to ride? Well, I think Colnago's nailed it here. The best way that I could describe it is that it has a flow and finesse about it. It's not the lightest gravel bike on the market, and it's not the most aero, but it feels like the most nimble and most responsive gravel bike that I've ever ridden. Take it into a corner and it feels like it wants to be pushed harder and harder. Hop out of the saddle out of that corner or from a stop and it responds immediately. The acceleration is quick. like you'd expect from a finely tuned race machine. On descents, I found its stability to increase with speed. This is a bike that feels at home going fast, both on and off road. This isn't your load all the gear for a multi-day adventure kind of bike. This is a bike that wants to go fast to gravel and on gravel. At slower speeds, it took a few miles to get used to the way it responds. It responds to every little input you give it. This responsiveness comes in handy on more technical terrain, when you're making split-second decisions about lines and where to go. Anytime that the dirt was loose or the tires lost traction, it was nice to know that a small input could bail me out of any dicey situations. Again, this level of responsiveness is unlike any bike I've ever ridden. Dare I say that that is part of the Colnago soul that's built into these bikes. It felt like it was made for these exact situations, making for a predictable, lively, and enjoyable experience all around, as you'd expect from a frame set at this price point. The C68 Gravel begs to be ridden fast, and it keeps its end of the deal, rewarding the rider on every climb, every acceleration, and every time it's buried into a corner. And it's that reward and that immediate smile on your face feeling that makes this bike so great. And if you want the best and have the budget for it, the C68 Gravel is a great option. Maybe this is your first Colnago and you plan to keep it for years to come, as so many other Colnago owners do. Or maybe you're adding it to your collection of handmade bikes. Whatever the case, the C68 does not disappoint. It seems to punch above its weight in every single aspect. It's something that's somewhat hard to describe, but it's undeniably there. Again, it feels like a bike that was created first and foremost to be an exceptional experience. Yes, weight, aerodynamics, aesthetics, the typical marketing data points, all of those are important, but they're secondary to the lasting impressions and experience of simply riding the bike. And as a first-time Colnago rider, I was very impressed. There's definitely something special here. I'll link Colnago's website below where you can see more information, geometry charts, and get information on additional features like Colnago's blockchain registration that acts as a digital passport for your bike. It's pretty cool. Huge thanks to Colnago for letting me put some miles on the C68 Gravel. Hopefully you don't ask for it back anytime soon. Anyways, until next time.